Hey everybody, it's Jay Ball, Blue Jays Maple Syrup, and today we're going to talk about another exciting topic for the next stage of maple syrup season, and that's cleaning the tubes and how I go about doing that. So you guys saw in one of my earlier posts about tap life, and I've got all the taps cut off of the first set of tubing. I've got all the buckets sitting over there, so once I get these lines dried out, which is what we're going to talk about today, then I'm going to be able to store everything, keep everything well organized. So let me show you guys what I've found the best way is to dry these lines out, because even though you let these things hang dry, some of these shorter connections like these T's and these Y's, they will have residual moisture in them, and you want to again get everything clean and dry, because you will get mold that will build up in these small areas. And it's not a big deal to go ahead and cut these off and put new ones on, but it does get to be kind of a pain. We've got hundreds and hundreds of connections. So let me show you guys how I dry these lines out. So this may or may not be possible with your setup, but luckily for me, I've got a pretty decent setup where I can get away with doing this. So the way I do this is with an air compressor. So I've got my air compressor hidden in my man cave because it's gonna get super noisy and loud. But what I'll do is I'll take this short 3-run connection and I'll take one end of the nozzle, put it into that end of the tubing, which fits in there just quite perfectly, and then blow it out. So no moisture coming out of this one. Looks like it's pretty dry. These little short guys are pretty easy, but the tricky ones are the long ones. So let me see if I can't give you a good visual of how I get all the water out of these super long lines. So may or may not work, but let's give it a try. Before I show you guys how I get the lines flushed out, I want to show you kind of a cool way to store these doubles. So you guys might have some of these doubles like I have on some of the bigger trees. And when I use that T with that connector on it right there with that bung on it, or the sprue if you want to call it, what I'll do to store these is actually I'll wrap them inside of one another like this, kind of like a extension cord. And then what I'll do is I'll take this top one, run it through, and then I will stick it on there. So it actually stores fairly nice and neat, and then I'll stick these in a bucket. So I have a designated bucket that's got just my double line setups, and I've got one for single line setup. So yeah, it's kind of an interesting way you can kind of play with this and manipulate it to see what way works best for you. But that's how I store my doubles when I cut the tabs off. This may or may not be pretty, but this run right here, it's got 3 taps on it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start from the very end. I'm gonna blow air through this drop line, close this one off, and then when I'm done blowing air through this one, I'm gonna then switch and blow air through this one and push it all the way down the line. So let's try it. It might not be easy to see, but at least I'll kind of give you an idea. So here's the second drop, here's the first one. So now I can hear the air blowing out of the back end. So do that for just a second. Put my finger over this one, blow through this one. And again, you're just trying to dry these lines out as best you can. It's not gonna be perfect, but this is what I found works best for my setup. So yeah, kind of boring, but I want to show you guys everything. I did just get a little bit of water out of the end. See if I can't show you this. I don't think you see that coming out of there. But so yeah, again, it's just a way to get the lines dry. It may or may not work. It is a little bit cumbersome, but it's the only way I found to get the lines at least 99% dry. So again, hopefully you guys learned something. Maybe you guys can apply this to your setup. So my name's Jay Ball, Blue Jays Maple Syrup. Appreciate you guys watching this kind of boring post, but yeah, now I gotta just get into the mode of cleaning stuff, which is always tough, but it's gotta be done. So I will make another post and maybe do a time lapse to show you guys some of the bigger runs I've got to do to clean everything up. So yeah, hope you guys enjoy the rest of the evening, and I will see you next time.